My arms are disappearing, man.
I'm so mad, Andrew. I found the one I have. It's not the digital version. I meant to bring it up. I promise the next
God,
one I
if you
will.
had a real one, right? That'd
Yeah,
be awesome.
I'm gonna send it
That'd be
to
awesome.
Andrew.
Yeah, you need to. Welcome everybody to tonight's BBR episode 54. Great to have you on. We are post-COVID. Hopefully, we are going to not have any future closures. But tonight we have some great information for you. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on currently with the salons that are open. Most of you are open, and then we're going to get into a little bit of marketing to get new employees right now in this craziness that's going on. And then finally, we're going to open the mic tonight for Open Mic Monday so that anybody can ask any business questions. So let's definitely interact tonight, gang, and welcome to the episode. So if you weren't listening earlier, James, Andrew, and myself, we were talking about what's going on currently with regard to clients coming in and how they're perceiving everything and rebooking and things like that. And, you know, one thing I have to bring up, because I said this earlier prior to starting the recording, is that clients are very hesitant about rebooking. The fear factor is in there after the first appointment. The second fact I'd like to bring up is somebody posted in the group today, and I think it's very important to know. L'Oreal, and they didn't post about L'Oreal, but they did post about Madison Reed selling a color kit every 5 seconds during this COVID crisis while the salons were out. So what I want everybody to concentrate on going forward is whether you are open or you are shut down, you need to start servicing your clients. Whether you're open or not, remember what I'm saying. Service is service, whether you're open or not. Learn how to be a digital marketer. Learn how to service them with a color kit. Curbside pickup, no touch delivery, just like Domino's Pizza, like I said earlier. It's very important because if you don't, that Madison Reed who's selling a color kit every 5 seconds is going to start scalping your clients. So folks, I told you this, I think I'm BBR number 1 or 2, not episode 54, okay? And people argued about it. Get over the argument. If you get shut down again in this craziness going on, because states open too early, you better have a plan to start making money online. It's that simple.
Yeah, by the way, just to frame it, every 5 seconds means 17,280 color kits a day.
Oh, that's it?
Not too sure.
Madison Reed, she's a loser. I mean, that's like she could sell way more than that. I mean, 17,000. That's like nothing.
So let's just say 100 days. That's 1,728,000 color kits.
Oh my God. Wow, that's some serious money. And folks, remember there are 1,000 potential clients for every 3 salons. So you better be selling to your own clients. If you're not, you're just sitting back and you're putting your blinders on, right? That you're the horse and somebody's leading you, and that's sad. Well, we want to lead you to open your eyes and be everywhere.
Here's what I would say to you, Derek, is that, and Andrew too, and anybody on, is that, you know, in this day and age now, you know, all of the major factors, right? High blood pressure, diabetes, people that are immunocompromised or of a certain age that could be affected by this, you know, why would you not have an option for them? And it's their color. So why not have some type of option? Because we've had more than a few clients since we opened last week that said, hey, I love the protocols you put in place. I trust you guys completely with what you're doing. And I've saw the pictures and it's great, but I'm not leaving the house for a while. So like have an option for them. And even if you were against the color kits.
James, your mic went out.
Mic'd out, bud.
I know what he was going to say. Even if you were against it prior to this, you better be on board now after seeing the results of Madison Reed. Because
you just want it to be good. Like make it branded for your salon.
So easy to do too, right, James? I mean, look, guys, 6N, 5N, those are your staples. Probably 80% of your clients are just getting a 6N on their head. And if that's the case and you're not mixing it for them, wow, where are you, like, what world are you living in? Wake up, folks. Sell, sell, sell. If your employees don't want to do it, you as an owner have to do it. James, you back on?
I don't know. Am I back on? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. You're good. You're good.
Usually when I have my best things to say, my mic cuts out. I don't know.
We edit.
COVID is really ruining my
That's okay.
feel here.
Andrew gets the Damien mic when he has the best things to say.
You know what, Andrew? You get it worse than I do. When you have a great point, you all of a sudden turn into like Beelzebub. You know.
I love it.
Really talk to your clients more about the frequency of visit.
I'm your father.
Right?
Anyway.
Okay, guys.
No, but listen, you're right. There's
Andrew, okay, guys.
But there is branding in everything you do. Like you guys are going to talk about marketing tonight, whether it's new employees or not. There's branding in everything you do. Like just because it's in a little brown bag, you could stamp them, you could paint them, you could do so many things to make them resonate with what your brand is. But the ultimate result is the same. If they're afraid to come in, you're kind of curating that relationship further on because you don't want them. Listen, we've had a few afraid clients come in our first week, and it is painful. They're in the mask, they have their gloves on. We're all disposable these first few weeks, right? Aprons, capes, the whole nine. And it's like they're walking into Area 51 for an alien autopsy. Like they don't want to touch a thing. They have to pee, and they're like, "Hey, do you mind if I go back out and pee in the bushes? Because I don't want to come and pee here." Like it's like this weird, uncomfortable crazy. That if you could mitigate that by saying, "Hey, there's an option for you until we're ready." First of all, it clears the book. Number one, so you could put another client in if you raised your prices, but it also pushes them out a little bit more until they're comfortable. So there's so many options there that just don't miss the opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt. So, I think we talked about this a good amount. We'll get back into this in the open mic. Tonight, what I wanted to talk about to start, and then we'll get into other stuff, is marketing to potential employees. So one of the things that every salon I coach right now is telling me, hey, people are moving, they're doing this. It's very transient right now with operators, stylists, whatever technicians, whatever you want to call them. But it is true. The whole industry is in a flux right now. And you're going to have your core employees who aren't going to move. They're great. We all have them. But you're going to have the ones who have been teetering, and the ones who have been teetering are going to go. And with that, there's going to be plenty of other employees out there who are looking to make that change also. So right now, if you are not marketing to get new employees, you're missing the boat. The salons that I've coached that are marketing, as I said earlier before we were recording, one of my salons just picked up 6 new employees, like with the drop of a hat. And they had lost 3, but they picked up 6. And that's what's going on. There's a lot of transition going on. So don't get crazy right now if you have employees that are being, we'll call them, I don't want to say unloyal, because in their mind, you've done something wrong. And you as a salon owner, it all ends up at you, right? You're the boss. Everything funnels down from there. But there are ways, okay, forgetting about the mentality of this, to market to employees, okay? And it's not just the old ways of Indeed, running a Facebook ad, things like that. You literally have to look at marketing to employees, potential employees, as it's the same as marketing to potential customers. It's the dating game. Andrew hears me say this all the time. You have to be the best looking person in the bar at the time they're looking, and then afterwards they want to see you in the bar many times after before they make the commitment, right? And it's a silly analogy, but it's so true. So what we need to do when we're marketing for potential employees is we might post a landing page, right? And if you don't know what a landing page is, we can talk about that in an individual call. But a landing page is basically a mini website that says, hey, welcome to our lifestyle, right? You want the lifestyle. It's not just about money. Don't make it just about money. If you make it just about money, people are not going to go to you because there's 100 other salons out there saying the same damn message. Make it about this great lifestyle, like you see these assholes, and excuse my French, on marketing channels standing in front of their Ferrari, right? You want my lifestyle. You know, me as a marketer, I know it's all bullshit, but this is what potential employees want to see. They want to see a lifestyle. They want to see who they can be at your salon. It might be, hey, it might be a BMW for all I know, right? Or it might be time off. You set your hours, all those things. You have to figure out your market and market to that avatar who's an employee, right? We call them avatars. So when we're designing a customer, we're designing our ideal customer. When we're designing an employee, we're designing our ideal employee. So what we want to do is build a little avatar and say who that person is, and write down the traits of who that person is. So after we do that, though, we're going to market to that person in every format we can. Okay, it might be Indeed, it might be Facebook, it might be Instagram, it could be all over the place. But you need a funnel, a marketing funnel to. Bella just said my avatar is a unicorn. That's funny, Bella. I love it. And farts rainbows. But anyway, you need to know who that potential person is, whether it's a client or whether it's a potential employee. Very important stuff. And market to that right now, because now is the time when you can really, really hit a home run with getting new employees into your salon. And they might have books, they might not. A lot of them are running around with full books, right? And maybe you have a booth rental scenario. Maybe you have an employee to booth rental scenario, which is another lesson we're going to come up with. I think that was important from past episodes of BBR, that if you're in that type of market, that you can create a system that starts them off as an employee, teaches them how to be a business owner until the point where they're making enough money as an employee that they can grow onto the next phase, which is a business owner, but keep them within your business, okay? So there's a lot of things we can do right now digitally to get these employees in. And it starts with a landing page. So now I'm gonna show you on Salon Ninja, you can build this yourself. What is a landing page? A landing page is a simple one-page website, right? So let's hop in here, and I'm gonna share my screen here in a second, as soon as I get this craziness out of my way. Hold on one second. James, Andrew, can you see my screen? Cool. So if everybody's listening here, here's one I did earlier today for another webinar. Basically what this is it's a funnel to hire employees. So you'll see in here, this is a landing page. A landing page is a simple one-page website. Some cases, in this case, it's actually more than one page, but our Salon Ninja platform has the availability to do this very quickly. It literally took me less than a half hour to build this. And what it is showing somebody, in this case, a lifestyle, right? Lifestyle is employment, has a little video about the salon, learn more button, has some other things. Basically, you want them to get interested in your team ahead of time. And then when they click learn more or whatever the case might be, it's going to take them to another step. In this step, we want them to fill out a quick application, right? So here it is, automated application. And once they submit, we want to then take them to a thank you page to say, hey, you know what, we'll be in touch with you soon, but if you're in a hurry, let us know your schedule, that kind of thing. And it's really important to do these things to market to people. Now, you would take the link to these landing pages you're building, and you would post them in your Instagram and your Facebook, everywhere you're doing something, even in Indeed and those things. You don't want the generic ad that says, hey, we're hiring you for this much, blah, blah, blah. Because you know what? There's 100 other people doing that. You want to sell a lifestyle or a commitment or something that they feel attached to you quickly within your marketing funnel. right? And this stuff might look complicated to you, but I promise you, it's really easy to do with a little instruction. If you don't want to hire a coach, if you don't want Salon Ninja, then you can go online and say, how do I build a landing page? Okay? You can do it yourself if you want to bootstrap it. We're not here to sell you tonight. Of course, if you want to buy in, that's fine. But what I am trying to sell you on is the idea that you have to market your salon to potential employees the same way you market to new clients. They don't want to see all these stupid Indeed ads and stuff like that. They want to see what you are, who you are, and guess what? The first place they look is at your website and at your digital presence. Super duper important to build these things and get them rolling for yourself, if that's what you're interested in, right? And have a lot of content and be personal. Have these videos about your team. You know what? You should have them for clients. You should also have them for potential employees. I think it's really, really important. Bart, Andrew, Bart at his marketing agency said today, and he's coming out with kind of these video platforms. And by all means, Endgame Marketing, definitely check out Bart. It's so important to have a video presence these days. And it doesn't have to be super complicated videos. It's a video of your team, something intriguing that's 60 seconds to 90 seconds long. Don't overdo it, okay? You should be able to do it on your phone, those types of things, okay? Going back to that, okay, with that, you should also, if you can, if you have the capability, like Salon Ninja has, you should have a campaign going out to that potential employee. So in this case, right, we have, and this is the important thing about a campaign, we have an email and a text going out to that potential employee saying, hey, join our team, welcome to the team, let's set up our first appointment, blah, 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 right? But the important part about this campaign is I want to show you is it goes out over time, right? So we have one immediately, then we have one at 7 days, then one at 30 days, then one at 90 days, 180 days, and 365 days. So we are always sending that potential employee a message because they've already showed interest over a long period of time. So hopefully we're the prettiest person in the bar when they want to go out on a date. That's the important thing that you need to remember about this. Marketing doesn't always work automatically first time. It's over a period of time. You have to remind that person who you are, what you have to offer them over a period of time. And this could be a customer or it could be a potential employee. And that's the important thing to remember about marketing through the digital age. And remember, you take those links from those landing pages and you could throw them anywhere. Like people get confused. How do I get that message out? Build a landing page, copy the website link, and share it everywhere. Text, email, Instagram, you name it. It's all over the place. And believe me, you will have a flood of people looking to have jobs with you. So I could get into this for hours, but I'm not going to tonight. It was a brief overview because some people had questions on what a landing page is and how to share it and all that great stuff. If you have Salon Ninja, it's very easy to do. If you don't have Salon Ninja, I'd be welcome to talk to you. If you want to bootstrap it, which means putting a bunch of programs together, that's cool too. All you have to do is build a page inside of the back end of your website and build in a form, a contact form, and then build out text and emails to go out to that person, okay? Super duper important though that you have a constant communication with that person. And if you can do it in an automated way, it's just going to save you time. If you can't, then you're going to bootstrap it. That's your choice, okay? But what I'm trying to tell you is it's not about the one hits, right? It's not about somebody, oh, I'm interested in your application right now. It's about a journey. It's about showing them a picture, showing who you are, showing a video. This is our team. Getting their interest to say, oh my God, I want to be part of that place, right? And then if they didn't do it that day because they were just clicking on the internet because they're a little mad at their boss, you need to hit them out over a period of a year or whatever it is in time increments so they can say, you know what, this person, you know what, I finally had enough. I'm going to go work there. So
Or,
that
or if they made a choice and they went to someplace else, you're still on their mind. And
irrelevant.
maybe they made not the greatest choice in the world. Because if they'd gone to you, they would have made the greatest choice in the world.
I agree. We have Nicole in here. Thanks, Nicole. I appreciate it. Nicole is just tearing it up with Salon Ninja. Nicole, I think, got 54 new appointments just off of offering a refer a friend campaign through Salon Ninja. That's pretty cool, especially during COVID. And Nicole also was the one that did the COVID sequence with having an automated message saying fill out your COVID release form, and then when they get there, another automated response saying text us when you get there, and our system will text you back when your appointment's ready. So very cool stuff, Nicole at Blue Color Salon. Appreciate it. So that's enough of me rambling tonight. I don't know what happened to James. Where'd he go?
He's doing weird things with
Anyway,
get back on.
The crew will be back on. He'll be back on in a second, I'm sure. But with that, what I want to do to all our favorites here on Facebook and inside the platform tonight on Zoom, we're going to have Open Mic Monday. Let's not make it boring. So what I mean by Open Mic Monday is the floor is yours. So let's take some questions and we will answer them. And if I need to bring you on live for the question, I'll bring you on live for the question. It's up to you if you want to do that. But let's get these questions out. Pull them up. Here we go, guys. So give me a number one if you have a question, and then post a question. Give me a number two if you just want to sit back and be lazy tonight, because it's been a crazy ass week. Listen, it's all fun on open mic, Andrew.
Absolutely.
So Bella said number two already. I thought you were at the beach,
Awesome.
Bella. Very funny. Anyway, so let's get some questions going, gang. Any business questions you have to post? Phyllis posted up a number one. Phyllis, let's see what your question is. Linda's a 1.5. Now, all joking aside, let's get some business questions in here. Or tell me how you're feeling right now after your first week, or it might be your second or third week of clients, and what your biggest concerns are moving forward, or what experience you'd like to share about what happened. So Phyllis says, how can I build an employee when I don't have any walk-ins? So Phyllis, this is a question that goes about all the time, okay? Don't worry about walk-ins, make the walk-ins. That's all I can say to you. It's as simple as that. Now that might sound hard, right? What you have to do is you have to create marketing, and marketing is not as simple as it sounds. It could be 10 different platforms, 100 different ways. There are many different ways, but the predominant way of doing that, and I can tell you through the salons that are coaching with us, is their own websites, okay? Your website has to be your presence. Website is your home. If your windows and doors aren't open on your home when you have a party, then guess what? Nobody's coming. So number one is your website. Concentrate on your website and how it is connecting with people through either contact us forms, specials, things like that. Okay, Chamber of Commerce, great idea. You got to pound the pavement too, right? All the old techniques of marketing will never be old. They are old, but they're still true, right, Andrew? So pounding the pavement,
digitize them as much as you can. Mm-hmm. Mary Wilson asked the question, and maybe some of our audience can answer it. Mary says, what is the percentage of stylists that have returned or not returned? So from personal experience, gang out there, what's going on with your salon? Anyone want to share?
So I'll jump in first because,
Sure.
and Andrew, I'm sure you can jump in too because you've got a lot of coaching clients. From a coaching client perspective, because I coach a lot of salons, I can tell you about 80% of stylists return, about 20% don't. What I have seen is a bigger influx of new stylists, though, for those that don't, if you're marketing to them. And you know, we went. Anthony DeFranco said a bunch of 100%, and that's freaking awesome. That means you have a rock solid team, and that's just awesome. But look at this as a blessing. The ones who aren't returning are probably employees that you didn't want to work for you in the first place. You as an owner have been giving in to them, and that's not through empathy, right? That's just giving in to them because you give them everything they want. You're not leading, and those employees shouldn't be employees anyway. It's just like a bad client. Okay, if you have a bad client, you need to divorce the bad client, make room for a good client. It's the same with an employee. It's no different. You need to do that. Super important. And now is your time from the reset to do those things.
So Lori says our salon is not going to open until July 21st. So 3 weeks from now. So I'm wondering how that will affect my clients coming back. I know that 3 are not returned. Is that 3 stylists, Lori, or is that 3 clients? I mean, the clients are going to return.
Yeah, the clients are going to return. Not only are they going to return, but you're probably going to have an overflow of clients from other salons who weren't able to reopen. Right now, the average salon that I'm speaking to, and Andrew, you can speak to this, I'm sure, is picking up at least an additional 20 clients a week of potential new people that want an appointment just because a lot of salons didn't reopen or they can't accommodate the guests. So now is your hustle time. Now is time to bring it on. Bring it on. Split shifts, 12 hours a day. Get it done because there will be a point after the first few weeks when things will start slowing down and those extra clients are dollars in the bank moving forward. Carol asked, do we build websites with Ninja? Yes, we do, Carol. Let's see. Andrew, are you on Facebook or?
The folks at Blue said 100% retention. We worked our butts off to stay connected and keep our staff informed. Fantastic. You did all the right things. We have honest and real conversations, but also very optimistic about the future. That's an important point. We must be future paced. We must continually talk about the future. That's what leaders do anyway. One eye here, but one eye pushing out. Must do that. Optimism.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of comments coming in. Andrew, I'm going to handle Facebook. You handle Zoom if you can. So I'm on Facebook Live. Let's talk millennial business ownership. It's an important conversation. We are reopening at 90% leadership is required. And yes, it is super duper important now to lead. And here's why. If you don't set the example, and we had Jay on here a while ago, if you're not asking those questions, what great happened to you during this, instead of commiserating, you're going to have an issue. And if you're not setting that example as a leadership, from a leadership role, you're going to have a major problem on your hands because everybody's going to start commiserating. It's going to put the potential clients in a bad mood or the existing clients in a bad mood, and that's not cool. Everything's got to be positive, whether it is or isn't. You've got to lead by positive example. And what I mean by that is, like Jay said, tell me, out of everything that happened during COVID, tell me the one thing that was great that did happen during COVID. That might have been touching your family, concentrating on your business, whatever it was. But from a client perspective, it might have been something else, right? It might have been, hey, I finally got to connect with myself, my life, my family, any of those things. And those are the questions you have to ask those clients to guide them properly. The second thing is you have to be doing proper consultations. You've got to concentrate on what happened with their hair during that period. And now you've got to concentrate on how you're moving it forward, correcting it, the right products, all those things. You should be selling a product to every damn one of your clients walking out of the salon right now, more so than any other time in the history of owning a salon. It should be easy breezy. A lot of people saying they're open 7 days a week and banging out the business, no time. So if you are open 7 days a week right now, okay, you've got to start pre-planning and you've got to make time for that gap period that is going to come. And I promise you it's going to come. I've been coaching salons now that have been in it since day one with the reopening, and they are getting hit with the slow periods after the initial influx. What I want you to concentrate on, you're probably not going to catch up on that first slow period because your mind's not there. And we get that, right? As a coach, I get that. You can't do it all at once, okay? But for the second gap period, you better be starting to market. And what I mean by those gap periods is the influx of your customers, okay? You might have a giant influx for the first 6 weeks, okay? And then for 2 weeks, you have a slow period because the majority of your customers got in there. So what you want to do is figure out when that next 2 week period is going to be after the first one and start marketing to that, whether it's spreading out your book, whether it's marketing to get new clients, whatever the case might be. You need to start concentrating on a map or a calendar of where your clients are now and where your slow periods are now, and start marketing to those slow periods going forward. Very, very important if you want to survive.
Derek, Bella has asked a question, and I will open it up here. How does one address an employee that constantly discusses politics and says not so positive comments and is a Debbie Downer and has to be constantly reminded not to?
So my answer to that would be twofold. First, the counseling and saying, why are you feeling like that? Why do you engage in that conversation? Not attacking them with, you're doing this, you're doing that. Okay, that's the wrong perspective. Ask them the questions, why you feel like this, why this is happening, and why you feel it's important to pass this on to your clients. And get into those reasons. And if they're not the right reasons that you think as an owner are part of your culture, then you know what? You might have to make the hard decision right now because there are a ton of people looking for jobs right now.
So Bella says, we did ask before the salon opened and last week again. So what did she say, Bella? Sometimes people don't even realize what they're doing, how they're being. It's amazing.
And that's why I'm always, why are you doing this? You know, not in an accusing manner, but like, what is your feeling behind this? And if that feeling is not something that jives with your culture or your atmosphere, how can we fix this? And if it can't be fixed, then we all know what needs to be done if it can't be fixed. And that comes down to the hard decisions as an owner, right? And that's the hardest decision. We need to part ways.
Well, Bella says she shrugged her shoulders and thinks it's fine. Great person, great stylist, but upsetting my boss. Okay. So how do you know she thinks it's fine? I would ask you that, Bella. How do you know that this person thinks it's fine? Has she said so? She states that yes. Then you have a conversation.
Yeah.
It's time for a conversation.
Exactly. And now it's time to say, if you think that's appropriate behavior, then tell me why, and let them tell you why. And well, here is our goal in the salon as a team. Do you think you as a person can be there with us as a team? If they tell you no, then you got to say, well, then you know what? Then I think that it is probably the proper time for us to part ways. And that's a hard, like I said, that's a hard decision, but it really, it's hard to make that decision. But as an owner or a leader, you need to make those decisions. If somebody can't be brought around to the team thinking through questions, not statements, then they are definitely not somebody you want in your salon. I don't care how
Bella
much.
asks, how can one approach legally, may I ask, the rotten apple of the group with respect?
Legally,
Legally,
legally, legally is easy. I can tell you right now, in all 50 states, unless you have an employment contract, you can do whatever you want. You can say bye.
certainly in New York State, and I believe Bella, you're in New York State.
Yes, she is, Andrew.
It's employment at will. I mean, you can terminate someone. Doesn't have to be for a cause. You can terminate someone. I'm not saying it's a good practice. I'm not saying that, but legally you can do it.
Yeah, a lot of people get hung up on the legalities of things. Unless you're under a union contract or a separate employment contract, as far as I know, and I worked in labor law for a long, long time, you're an at-will employee in all the states that I know, unless you're under a union bargaining agreement.
Yeah, I think
So
it's really bad practice. Just, you write them up.
Mhm.
You just go through a procedure. I don't know what your salon's procedure is, Bella, but generally, structured salons have 2 warnings, written warnings or whatever, and then ciao, ciao.
So on Facebook, Mary's in here, Mary and Philip. Hey guys, great to have you in. Fresh is good, Wilson Collective. Yes, fresh is good. So just in the group, we've had a lot of comments recently. I guess a lot of people are unhappy with their current product distribution companies because of what they've done or not done during COVID, and asking what companies we recommend. And I would say go with independent companies right now. The way things are going, I would say steer clear of some of the bigger ones. I'm not going to name names, but you guys know what it is. And very good friends of ours, Philip and Mary Wilson with the Wilson Collective. Great product line. If you're interested, get involved for sure. We love them. They're great people, great education, and that will certainly help you
They'll
out.
do right by you.
Yeah, exactly.
And so will many other companies. I mean,
Yeah.
but
I said that.
The Wilsons in particular will do right by you.
Mary will. I don't know about Philip.
Philip's never done right by anyone.
But I can tell you, Philip will show you how to cut a damn good haircut. Okay, guys, post it up. Anybody want to jump on? Anybody in the Zoom want to jump on live and actually speak? If you do, just type a message in.
By the way, Maya said, to all this uncertainty, et cetera, and people talking politics and all that, she said, be clear with your team as to what your salon policy is. In her salon, we are clear on no politics, no religion, no gossiping. Yeah, just have clarity around it.
I agree. It's the same in our salon owner mastermind group, right? For a couple of days, and I took, as the admin of the group, I took a lot of heat over it. But I'm sorry, there's no politics, there's no advertising. It's that simple. And I can't allow it for one or allow it for another. And you need to know your message, who you are as a business. And Beauty Business Reset, Salon Owner Mastermind is about business. We're not about politics. We're not about other things. Some people will say it's not politics, blah, blah, blah. We're not even getting into that conversation. We're here to help salon and spa owners grow. It's that simple. If it's off subject, it's not in the group. And that, as you as a business owner, if that's off subject for you through your salon policies, it's not acceptable, period. You need to know where your lines in the sand are, period. And you know what? Most people don't want to talk about those things. They want to talk about what helps them. What's in it for me? We're in the what's in it for me generation, right? So, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Just know it, that is what your client wants. I used to have stylists who would get in and they'd be blah, 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 blah about what happened in their life, right? And I would tell them and coach them, that's not how we talk to our clients. We ask them, what's gone on in your life, Judy, or whatever the client's name is, not what went on my life. I went to the club or whatever. This is all about coaching. You've got to coach your stylist, coach your employees, that it is all about the person who's paying. James, welcome back.
Yeah, I can't tell you where I was. I had to do something and was on the phone. I won't tell you who it was because you'll all be really jealous. But what I will say is that Nicole and Charles, good friends of ours and Salon Ninja clients, they posted a question about in the group. We'd love to know what people are doing to provide exceptional experiences for clients during weird times without the beverages and little extras. We give everyone mints and hard candy so they aren't stuck in their mask, looking for more little ideas. So for you guys that are on, we had a nurse on. Who was the nurse, Andrew? We had a nurse on a while ago, right? About the halls, or was that just in Salon Ops in the group?
That was in the group, James.
That was in the group.
It was in the group. So you're on the right track. I mean, giving them something like that so that they're a little more comfortable in the mask. It's hard. I mean, we've had a few issues where, we're sort of Northern New Jersey. It's the Dunkin' Donuts versus Starbucks, just like it's Republican versus Democrat. They come in with the Starbucks cup and they come in with the Dunkin' Donuts cup, and it's like, hey, if it's not sealed, you can't bring it in. And they look at you, and that was sent out to them in advance. But there's certain things about the takeaway. I mean, what we did was, so one of the issues I would tell you guys is that we have some clients that, because we're not blow drying, so we've talked about that before the pre-call, but we've gone through and we've said, hey, you can have a leave-in conditioner or a conditioner you can wash out yourself at home. But for us, we don't want you to go back to the chair after you get rinsed out from your color. So if there's no finish, you leave the sink, they escort you out in the end of your service so they can clean that chair and they can be ready for the next client. It buys us a little more time because, as you guys all know, barbicide wipes or anything of the like, good luck. If by the way, if anybody needs barbicide wipes, just text me afterwards. I got a guy.
Bella just said she provides a 15-minute talent show. That's hysterical.
Why not?
That's great. I love it. And I could see Bella doing that. So, right. And somebody just said, hey, we provide a drop of aroma oil on the mask. And you know what? That's another great thing. It's kind of like when we, as a guy, I can tell you personally, when I go to get a shave and a haircut prior to this, one of the most enjoyable experiences is getting the hot towel that's scented with whatever over my face, and I can just like chill out, right? So great stuff, great examples, everybody, and that's why we're here to share this stuff. Somebody just said, what do you say when the client is asking about your personal life? That's fine, just redirect. So there's a thing we talked about in an earlier episode. I think we had, I don't know if it was Jay or somebody, but redirection is very important, and you need to learn this psychologically. And what that means is if somebody asks you something about yourself, turn it into you asking a question about them. Hey, Derek, what did you do during COVID? Hey, Sally, well, I did blah, 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 but you know what? What did you do? How was your family? Blah, blah, blah. It's really easy to redirect a question with a question. Just learn it. There's a million books on it.
Yeah, and I would say that one of my favorite stories, I ran a restaurant for a number of years, which I may have talked about in past calls, and I was a kid. I got stuck in it was our third location of a family-owned restaurant that I was not family, by the way, so I got thrown in the mix. And we had a really big afternoon crowd, and we were in Wayne, New Jersey, which had Kierfot that made missiles, and we had Hostess that made obviously what Hostess makes, cupcakes. But a lot of the executives would come in, and I was 21 and knew nothing. So I would take the Daily News and the New York Post every morning because they were delivered, and I would read the first 5 pages and the last 5 pages of both. So I read up to page 6, so I knew the celebrity bullshit that happened. I knew if the Mets or the Yankees won or Jets and Giants won, and whatever the headline was. And I navigated that the entire time. And we never talked politics per se, but they said, "Oh, did you hear what happened last night?" And of course I did because I read it. It was on the front page of the Post, and we didn't have to have anything in depth because that timing is so. They people deflect, like clients deflect when they don't want to talk about their hair or their marriage or things that are affecting their hair, but that still all affects them after the fact. If they're struggling with their next job per se, and you give them a really great shade of red and it makes them feel empowered, like you help that. Like if they're struggling in their marriage, the same thing. If they come home and their husband who doesn't talk to them says, "Wow, honey, you look great." Like that power that, like a Dr. Lou who was on this morning with Oscar's call would say, that little bit of power that you give them and you afford them, like why not I'm not saying take advantage of that in a bad way, but in a good way of saying like, hey, you're in the beautifying business, like go get your car washed and drop it off, or get your car detailed and look how good it looks and how great it feels to get in your car, your same crappy car, whether it's brand new or whether it's a 2002 Subaru. If it's detailed and smells great and looks good, you're like, man, this is a car.
James,
This is like,
what you touched on something very important. We're in the beauty business, but the beauty business is not just about the outside, it's about the inside also. So we're helping them be a beautiful person on the outside, which is helping them be a beautiful person on the inside, hopefully. And it's your job, unfortunately, in most circumstances, is to be their psychologist at the same time. So I would suggest, if you are somebody behind a chair, to start reading a couple books on psychology on how to make people happy. I think it's really important. I think it's a big message. There it is. There it is, my friend, right? So there are books out there. And teachers, as a leader, teach your staff these techniques. You know, you're coaching your employees, okay? And your employees are coaching your clients. Now that sounds weird, but they are coaching. They're coaching them to be beautiful, better, brilliant, stronger, whatever those touch words are, right? But that's what it's all about. It's all about the experience. People say we are, oh, I do the best haircut, I do this, I do that. Guess why people come back? They come back because of the experience, how they feel inside and outside. If you can learn that as a stylist or an owner, you will master clientele.
well, in our very first call that we had, one of the complaints or one of the statements I made was about saying, how's your color? My color sucks. My color is not the right color. My color, like it's about asking questions too. So when Derek talks about the psychology of it, it's that it's not just their hair. Listen, we're in a state now, especially after COVID, where people just are not. They're uncertain. They may not be really as happy as they may be, even your happy-go-lucky clients that you could do nothing wrong with. So you need to redirect your questions and things you ask so that you're doing your job efficiently, but you're also thorough enough to make sure that it's not so open-ended. Hey, is your color good? No, my color sucks. I've been home for 14 weeks and I did henna and now you're going to turn me green and my hair's probably going to fall out. I mean, you just leave a whole Pandora's box open where if you did your job thorough and you said, what's been happening? What's this? How's your hair been? What's your, some clients that we've had call in our first week said, hey, I'm loving not having bangs anymore. I know you talked me out of bangs a long time ago, but I'm loving the fact that now I don't have them. I wish I would have listened to you because I look better, or my hair is longer, or the questions have to just adapt a little bit differently. But it doesn't make you do your job any less thorough as you did before, but you also have to modify a bit because of this. But this is not going to be the first.
So James, with that, we just had a comment on Facebook Live. Mallory said we have to acknowledge what's going on. Absolutely, we have to acknowledge what's going on. That does not mean that we have to step down into the gutter with it. It means we acknowledge it and then we deflect. Okay, very important. I know that sounds rude, deflecting, but I promise you it's not. What I mean by that is I acknowledge your feelings, but what's the greatest thing that just happened? Because you turn it around instantly. And it's so important to teach that to your stylist that it's called deflection, and it's all over the place. James, you want to push the book up again and then just type in what it's called? It's super important. There you go.
Becoming a cosmetologist. We could post up in the group. There's a few ways to get it. I would say from my end, if you guys are local, Art of Business has it. Matter of fact, Art of Business has a few good books. Doug Cox's book, and a lot of people that we all respect and love.
All good friends.
Is that Lou Wisconski's book?
Yeah.
Dr. Lou. He knows from whence he comes. And Derek, I'll just
go ahead, Andrew.
Little innuendo here, but in the deflection, you may want to try. Okay, you acknowledge. Instead of using the word but, you can use the word and. And let me ask you the question.
Wait, you've taken Dr. Lou's class before, Andrew, haven't you?
No, he's
Dr. Lou's couch. Dr. Lou is good.
James, just so you know, I think Andrew's older.
Hey, listen, when I took my little break, I
am older, man.
When I had to take my little break to go downstairs, I was actually on the phone with Dr. Lou, so I had to make sure that I had to scrub Andrew, because I think Andrew may have trained Dr. Lou from what Dr.
Exactly.
Lou. That old man.
I was waiting for you to say,
Go back a few years.
When
God damn.
No, but it's good. But you bring up a great point, Andrew. That it's how you pose the question and what. So to your point, what Dr. Lou says is it's the and versus the but, right? Which I think is funny because it says but, because I'm a little younger and I have young kids, so I say but and they're always like, they giggle. But it's the fight versus the camaraderie of giving an extra. So when you say but, it automatically turns it into an argument where you say
put a wall up.
Exactly. So Mallory just said, yes, deflection is an important tool, but we are facing a culture shift. So a culture shift is only done by not what's happening outside. It's happening from the team leader to your team, right? So if that's your culture shift that you're seeing, how do you as a team, and I'll ask you this, Mallory, post up, what have you done as a leader, okay, to help your team realize that although this is going on, there are also great things happening for them and for yourself?
Well, I would ask, that's a great question. What I don't understand, and maybe Mallory can expand on what she is thinking about what a culture shift is. What does that mean? I think we have to, in this world, there are a lot of things that are just floating around there, but we need to identify exactly what someone means when they say something. So is that...
Mallory, thank you for your input. In no way is anybody bashing you.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think it's a really good...
Yeah.
No, to help people best, we really need to understand where they're coming from.
Correct.
And I'm just saying, I could invent what a culture shift is in my head and give you some sort of answer, but I really want to know how your experience, what your experience is of the culture shift. Is that?
And Mallory's a salon in Jersey that we're friendly with
Mm-hmm.
from our own personal end. Obviously, just being open, I'd love to know, Mal, what's going on in your end. She's in the Jersey Shore, so you have a different divide
It's
from
not my way, James.
she's Mallory is sort of outside of Red Bank, but
Oh, she's in
but she's close
Christine's
to the shore.
territory.
So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see, like, people from North Jersey, where we are afraid to even go anywhere vacation wise, Jersey Shore, unless they own a shore house and it's secluded. But it's a very interesting thing to see what their conversations are, what their concerns are, whether it's, listen, it's not going to be hair, right? That's the funny thing is 14 weeks of not getting their hair color done. They're concerned about not getting their hair color done, but they're more concerned about not having the relationship with you over 14 weeks. Make them
Mallory, Mallory, if I can be of any help, private message me. I'll jump on a free call with you, and we can literally get together in Red Bank, because I'm literally 10 minutes away. If you need some help, just let me
How
know.
close can you get in Red Bank? What's the law down there?
Oh,
12 feet
shut
away.
down the
For Derek, it's 12 feet away, like a shark.
no, it's even better. Red Bank's one of the smart towns that shut down Main Street, and it's all outside dining. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but and I think it's so important for everyone. There's not an all to anything, all this, all that. When you hear people saying all, ask some questions. Get in.
Exactly.
Really, and that is with.
There it
Here
goes.
it goes.
Ask the
Luke
question.
came back on. We gotta laugh about this.
Answer your
Anyway,
questions.
look here, and every time I can't even speak. It's so funny. Anyway, so gang, this is great stuff. Just share your experiences, what's going on right now. This is beautiful stuff. Really, I appreciate every one of you that's on the call tonight and your input, good or bad. Post your comments, post your questions. We're all in this together.
So here's something interesting. Sasha just posted that she taught her team to listen and allow the client to do most of the talking. And then she goes on to say, like, it's sort of their service. And I agree with that halfway, but you also still need to be able to, what did you use, Derek? Redirect?
Yes.
Okay. You also need to make sure for you guys that you redirect. And when I teach salons about what to do in terms of client experience, so I know my specialty is retail, but it's really client experience, and retail plays into it. It's when you have pictures of your new puppy and pictures of your new baby and those things on your station, you don't know what that client went through, right? They could have had a puppy that just, like, hey, listen, the dog could have just died. You're sort of engineering their experience based on just the photos that are on your little table there for no reason. And it's fine. If you have a relationship and you can have the discussion, it's the same thing with this, is that you let them vent to a degree, but you still need to, first of all, reel it back to their hair, because you're the one that has to do it. But you also have to reel it back to what's going to make you comfortable, because you're in the mask for 8 hours a day. So if you have to, Vanessa Rose, who was on, who knows, 10 weeks ago, and I don't know if Vanessa's might be on Facebook tonight. Vanessa talks a lot about the love and light aspect, and I loved Vanessa's message. But when we were on, we talked about the mirror reflecting that negative energy. So clients come in and they're, I homeschooled. Listen, I homeschooled. It sucked. I got a $90 check back from my town for homeschooling. And I said, well, I wish it was 900.
What?
I was going to say, good thing teachers aren't paid $90 for 3 months.
Man, I'm just saying, $90. I was like, whoa.
$90.
I'm like, $90 from the PTA. I'm like, I think I did more work than $90. I'd be a little pissed off, but but it's their perception versus your reality because you're stuck in that space. So you have to make sure that you command a little bit of that. Just like if you said, "How's your color?" and you let them go wild about what you do. They're pining away to be in a hair salon. They've been talking about it on talk shows, on every news station in every state over this time. This is the time to reel in your expertise and say, this is why we go to school. This is why you shouldn't cut your bangs at your kitchen table, because you came in and, no offense to the Superstein paint boy, what's his name? Dutch boy?
Dutch boy, yeah.
It's nothing against the Dutch and nothing against the Dutch boy, but most of my female clients that come into the salon,
I find that offensive.
no, I'm just saying is that none of them want that hairstyle. So if you waited for me, I could have fixed it. If you waited for me, we could have done this. You see some of these YouTube videos that I'm sure are meant to be funny, where the girl twists her hair and then cuts it and then realizes what it looks like. It's not that easy. You guys are experts. You guys have this great expertise about the chemistry of color, the geometry of cutting. Don't negate that over what their experience was, because your experience was the same. You may have had people that had passed away. You may have friends that passed away. You may have family members that got sick. Sit down. We're going to fix your hair. We're going to get you rescheduled. We're going to make this comfortable. Don't talk too much because I'm in a mask and I'm going to give you a rock star grade haircut and shut your trap. We're going to fix it.
Be a pro. Be a pro.
It's always been that, Andrew.
A
Be
pro.
It's always been this before COVID. It should have been this 100 years ago, and it probably was. We forgot that somewhere along the lines. It's not about you as a stylist. It's about the client. Shut your damn trap. Listen to the client. Answer the client. If you need to redirect to make the client feel beautiful inside and outside. I think Vidal used to say, right, that it was more important to have the client feel beautiful inside than outside. And I think, we forgot that somewhere along the lines. We got too technical. We got too wrapped up in the procedures, right? Managing is managing, but leading is leading by an experience, we'll call it, whatever it is, right? It's two different things. Managing is all the technical things that go along. Leading is giving the experience, and that comes from you as an owner or you as a stylist behind the chair. And knowing how to psychologically take care of your client is just as valuable as knowing how to cut an asymmetrical bob, and
it's funny
not have Karen complain to the manager.
So I mean, obviously Philip and Mary Wilson have been friends of the BBR since the very beginning. So Philip's on the Facebook group, and I love Philip, and I love to break each other's stones, but he's got a really good point. He puts in using the Wilson method with the dual combs and the dual brushes. Like, in these weeks that you were closed, like, change it up a little bit, have something new. His technique is great. It's fast, it's easy. There's so many aspects to it, but hopefully most of you learned something that you could take away, not to make it faster for the service, but to make the service different. If you see these guys that hair, the YouTube videos where the guy cuts hair with the samurai sword, like Andrew used to cut years ago.
That's correct.
And it's the David Copperfield side. It's not wait, should I say David Copperfield or David Blaine? The younger crew are here, Andrew. I don't know.
Either one.
But it's the magician aspect of what you're doing for the show when the result may be the same thing. So if you feel like you're stagnant in terms of your cutting and you can't go to something like Vidal because it's not as easy. Vidal's not there anymore, and Sally Rogerson's kind of exclusive to Arizona, which if you go to Arizona to Sally's class, you can't come to your salon for 14 days at this point, I believe. But you take something like what Phil's doing and Phil and Mary, and they're online, and it's a couple of combs and brushes, and it's live. He doesn't even realize how close he is to really being live. It's not like a recorded video. It's like him on a video saying, "Hey, Andrew, don't hold your comb that way." It's like, it's so new even for them, and it's beautiful, and that's what you should learn, and you could bring that back to your clients and change your cutting and make it faster and make it more interesting. make it all more interesting. You're not going to change the experience. You are not going to get rid of the mask in most states like we are. You are not going to change the fact that they're not going to bring their bags in and you're going to frisk them like they're going through Newark Airport. You have to add other things.
It's really interesting. The word you use is show. So maybe now, and we touched upon it before, maybe now's the time to really do the technical show.
No
Because
doubt. No doubt.
it's visual. You don't have to talk a lot about it. You just do it. And it's new. And it just reinforces that you've been out there, not, sleeping on a couch, but you've been doing something to bring back something new.
Well, and you bring up a really good point too, Andrew, is that you never really talk about the technical. In a traditional hair salon, no matter how your pricing is, whether you're Manhattan pricing or North Jersey or outside, most of the time they come in for the relationship with the salon or the
Correct.
stylist. They don't really ask you like, hey, how good are you? What did you learn? So we try to do our little placards that, hey, Sally Rogerson was in for 3 days and we learned this cool stuff. And eventually after a week, nobody gives a shit. If you go in and you're like, hey, I am this good. How good are you? Oh, you don't want to know. I am this good that I'm going to do this haircut and you're going to still have both of your ears intact.
James, I talked about that a little bit earlier. It's the experience. It's not about all the other stuff. It's the overall experience. How did you make me feel inside psychologically? I've seen some of the worst hairdressers ever have the biggest books, and I'm not kidding. Their technical skills were horrible, but their people skills were beyond belief. And I got to tell you, I think it's more important. I'd love to see everybody have both, but in reality, it's more important to have those people skills. I've seen the best cutters, and there have been a few in Red Bank that I saw go out of business, charging $150 haircuts, but had zero personality because they thought they were Vidal Sassoon, but had zero personality. Okay, so remember that it's a combination of both. If we don't have, if we can't get into the mindset of that client, we're lost. Period. You lost them a long time ago. And going digital now is so important. And I'm not going to go into the whole lesson tonight, but a digital consultation, in other words, an online consultation, like we're doing tonight, a Zoom. I've got a few salons that I'm coaching now that are doing it, and it is freaking brilliant. You're saving time, you're saving money, you already get to know the new client beforehand, and you're just kicking ass because when they show up, you got your client's notes and say, wow, that was a great Zoom we had, Sally, and now let's get into this new style you wanted to try. Or, you know what, those products that we were talking about, here they are, whatever the case might be. But we're in a new world. I don't even want to say that word because it's our drinking game, the new normal, but I'll say it. Tonight's word of the day,
Too late.
the new norm, I just said it, right? But in all reality, it's true, right? We want to touch our clients as often and as personal as we can.
And I'll tell you something really funny about what Derek said about the Zoom calls. So for you guys that don't have a Zoom account, it's free. You can get a paid account, so you can have these types of calls and things. So we've been doing in our salon, we had an issue where we didn't necessarily want to give the stylist cell phone number out and do these types of calls. But if you have ever been on a Zoom call or you see Derek's message, it gives you this whole laundry list of time zones and crazy. So you can do, if you have a Zoom account, you can do a standing Zoom ID with the standing password if you choose to have a password.
You can use your phone number. You can use your phone number as your Zoom account.
Yeah, and what you can do is you can opt. So we've been giving the clients an option of a video or phone call. And then what we do is we actually schedule it. So clients that don't want a video, we use the dial-in number only. We text that to them, we text it to the stylist, and they have their Zoom call by phone where they don't have to be on video, all in the same account. And the benefit for you that our owners are on is I can manage and schedule that. So I can say, hey, are you available Tuesday at 10 a.m.? I plug it in like I would plug in any other meeting we would have. And it's already there. It's set in stone.
Yeah, it's great.
We like
Yeah,
easy.
listen, anytime you can free up for yourself in the salon, plus, how would I say, have a personal relationship with that client when they're not expecting it, or in a time when you normally wouldn't have in the normal operations of a salon prior to COVID. Some of these things, once COVID's gone, are going to carry forward. They really are. I mean, and if you're learning these lessons now, how to connect with your client online, like we're doing right now as a group, my God, it's gold. You don't know the gold it is right now. And I promise you, you will realize at some point, but even if it's your existing clients and you say, hey, hey, James, you want to change up your hair color? Let's do an online consultation, right? Or, hey, James, you know what, you've been off for a while. I know you're my client, but, you know, during COVID, you know, I think you need X, Y, and Z product. Let me recommend these products to you. And it's a quick video personalized to James or Andrew or whoever it is, right? Your client. You're going to kick ass. Your pieces per client, your upsells, all those things are going to change to the better. So as a salon owner, you better get in the game.
Yeah, but you know, you hit the nail on the head, and this probably should have been the title of the call. And this is for owners, which I know there's more owners on here than stylists. It's the planning, right? So during COVID right now, every state's going through it. You only have X amount of clients because of the partitions between each one. For you stylists that are out there, or you owners that have stylists, which a lot of you do, you know, how many clients do you have a week right now? So if you said, hey, I have 15 clients, it's 15 clients. Derek has been in sales for a long time. Andrew's been in sales for a long time, whether it's salon or not. 15 clients. I used to call 15 clients in an hour, not over the course of a week. So to plan for 15 clients about, wow, she's a redhead, I bet we could change this up. Or, hey, she uses this shampoo, I bet we could get her to do something different. Like, tell your staff, it's not a matter of being lazy. It's just not being effective. Like, there is so many opportunities that are there to bolster that relationship. It's 15 clients. I talk to, you don't even want to know. I am the worst Salon Ninja client ever, by the way, because I talked to about 400 clients in the past
No, you're
24
not.
hours. I'm like,
You're great.
yeah, you know.
Although I got to tell you, Nicole's kicking your ass.
No, but you know,
Nicole
James,
is on. Nicole is more efficient. I talked to 400 people over the last 40 hours because I'm like, you know.
this is a dream
Yeah.
in terms of the amount of personalization and attention you can give to the client. I mean, you can have them for life now. Honest to God.
Andrew, we could have done this stuff years ago, but you know what? Why is this group called the Beauty Business Reset? Because even us as salon coaches or owners have learned that, holy shit, there's so many other avenues right now that we can personally connect with our client that we weren't doing because we were so wrapped up in the minute instead of looking at how to run our business instead of working in our business. So you're 100% right, Andrew, and it's just crazy. Whether you use Ninja or whatever, now is your time to shine. You can come out of this bubble bigger, better, stronger than any other salon in your area if you're paying attention.
Well, and Andrew's right too, is that now you're engineering the client experience where they expect to be contacted digital, where, you know, listen, we all would agree, right? And I know especially the three of us, once you take the cape off after a service pre-COVID, that client wants to get the hell out of the salon. They don't care what your promotions are, what you want to sell them for shampoo. We didn't invent this. This has been written in every book about salons forever. They are done. The service is over. The cape comes off and they're like, you know, Wile E. Coyote in the cartoons. They're like, all you see is smoke, and they're like the Roadrunner or whatever. They're out. So now with this digital communication, you've pre-sold, you've post-sold, you've sold during. You have this opportunity to kind of engineer it throughout the whole experience that it's just a click of a button. Hey, you want to buy product? Click here. You want to do this? Click here. We've missed this opportunity the whole time because we always worked on, stylists worked on that relationship. Oh, I know her so well. Oh my God, I've doing her hair 20 years. Well, she never bought shampoo from you. So for as much as you knew how her life story, she doesn't trust you about buying shampoo. She'll trust you if you should go on a date with the guy that she just met online that after she got divorced for the last 3 years, but she won't trust you on your shampoo recommendation. Listen, I'm not Dr. Lou. I'm just saying that might be my book, right? Like, hey, I'm just, it's a very
So true. It's so true, though. This type of personal interaction online is the new norm. Drinking game. It's the new norm for real. If you're not on this game and you're not using it, whether it be for what I talked about earlier, which is hiring people through the messaging, through videos, things like that, personal connection, whether it's sending a client an email. Bart said earlier today in a webinar from Endgame Marketing that these videos are so important, and I agree. Video emails are so important. Introduce yourself to new clients in a video. Now, you don't need to know their name. You can do a generic video that says, "Hey, great, welcome to Blue a Color Salon, and it's so great to meet you." That kind of message, right? And get that out in a video email. All these video interactions are so important. Now, consultations, tenfold. If you're not the first, and we'll call it on a what do they call, not the cutting edge, Andrew? What's Jim always say, the bloody edge or
The
whatever
bleeding
it is?
edge, the bleeding.
Edge, I knew it was something like that,
Something
right?
like
But
that.
then whatever it is, but literally, if you're not there doing these things digitally, there you go, James. Thank you. So you can smile behind the mask. Now you're officially a ninja.
it says drinking buddy on there.
Oh, it's disappearing. That's not good. Anyway, so if you're not doing these things literally with your clients, you are missing an opportunity that you probably will never have again. If you get it now and you make it a habit with you and your clients, they will understand this, they will be trained to it, and they will be used to it, and you will set the standard.
No, it's funny. Setting the standard is actually a really good point because Nicole and Charles are on both from Blue, which are really good friends of mine. We talked this afternoon. We talk a lot. I love them. They said something about developing, owner, stylist, client, some type of relationship of what their experience is, which is not easy. I like it. I love the idea of saying like, wow, it would be great to say like, hey, client, rate your experience, right? On a scale of 1 to 10 or, 1 star to 5 stars, and then involve the stylist and the owner and find out what made that what it was. I don't know if it's that easy to do it, but man, it would be great to say like, hey, use this opportunity. I mean, we've been sending feedback out to our clients first week and said, hey, it's our first week. We can't control the masks and the oddities, but give us some feedback. And we've gotten some interesting things about not having coffee and tea. And I always considered coffee part of my salon experience. And I'm upset that that's not it. And somebody else that didn't like, hey, that I paid through Tippy and I don't want to pay the fee. And she doesn't realize we pay the 12.5% in New Jersey when you tip anyway, besides the credit card fee. So, there's been some things that came up that I didn't expect but they were happy about the way we did protocol. They were happy about the safety aspect, but they, clients are going to have a different experience. Like, hey, why do I have to do this? It's just, you have to kind of gauge interest. And sometimes when you get into like Derek would do with marketing, when you get into numbers and you say, hey, we polled 100 clients and 100 of them don't like the fact that Andrew is in the Sahara Desert.
Correct.
He won't be in the Sahara Desert anymore. He'll go to, hey, listen, I have an Iceland background.
Derek, I'm just thinking, I believe we have a feature in Ninja for exit interviews and what you like and what you didn't like. And wow, big opportunity.
Yeah, so we have an exit survey in Ninja available. If you want to build it out, it's whatever questions you want to ask, but it's an automated thing. But you get listen, all these things we're talking about tonight are about client experience and what was their experience with us, right? So in a digital age, we can be proactive and do all these video things. As a follow-up, we can do a lot of things. We can do, so the old way is we would have, we'll call it a virtual shopper, right? Go in and shop the salon with a form that they filled out when their experience was done, so they could rate the salon and tell us about their experience, give it back to the owner. I went through this in a previous lesson. We can do all this stuff digitally directly through the client now. And it's so important to have that connection with your client, know your client, follow up with your client, nurture your client, get the new clients through the first 3 visits because they're not a customer until they've been there 3 times. All of those things that we know as a salon owner that we should have been doing, now is the time that we need to implement these things. If you weren't doing it, and it needs to become your gospel for your salon. You know, that experience, that client experience is the core of it all, Andrew, and I see you thinking, because it really is. It all comes down to the client experience, right? It's not about the haircut. It's not about COVID. It's not about any of that. It's the perception that you set as a leader in your salon of what that experience will be for that client. And if you are not getting your team on board, you're failing as a leader, okay? And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because it's crazy right now as a leader, right? As a salon owner, we're all over the place right now, getting things open, figuring out all the protocols, all those things. Keep in mind, what is your core value? What is the core value of your salon? And don't deviate from it. Make that experience part of it.
Well, I think people forget too what their core value is sometimes. You know, what why you opened and what you offer and why you had your salon mantra. And, maybe you're lucky like we are. We have a really good staff. They do what they're supposed to. They show up on time. So we have a lot less of the HR related issues, right? They submit their days off into the box like they're supposed to, and they do that stuff. But now after being closed for 14 weeks and coming back our first week, it's like, what the,
Yeah.
Listen, there's certain things that haven't changed, mask or no mask, and they walk around and they ask questions all day. So there's days, for me now, there's days that I'm not supposed to be on staff. So it's like the front desk is closed. I go through a separate exit. Don't walk beyond this point like a client. And they're like, where do I put this form? And I'm like, I am a ghost. Get away from this area. Don't come within 6 feet. We're trying to stay open. We're open 1 week. Read your goddamn emails. Like, we just and they, their expectations are different. So, when you look at the retraining opportunities sometimes of what you can do staff wise, it's not about, I always was a big fan of finishing the service, which I think, no offense to service providers, because I don't do hair. I thought most of you did a crappy job of finishing the service, right? Like I said, take the cape off and it's like, poof, you might as well teleport back to your car and be out of the salon. You don't miss those opportunities just to finish the service. They don't have to buy product. That should be natural. Your education of what they should use should help facilitate that. But the rebooking, the stuff, the recommendations, that should be natural. So that end of the service should have a certain finesse to it, that it's like, it's just the end of the service. Here's your little chocolate at the end of your great dinner.
What a blessing. I mean, let me rephrase this. What hell COVID has been, but what a blessing it has been at the same time, because Bella just had a fantastic comment. She said, I used to service 25 clients a day. Then it was down to 8 clients a day, and now it's even less. But the personal touch is way more now, right? We can spend more time with our clients. We can actually, instead of a production line atmosphere, have that I'm going to make you beautiful inside experience, right? But there's something that comes along with that. And if you missed out on the lessons, if you didn't raise your prices, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to be hurting and going to be worrying about going out of business. If you raised your prices, you're going to be able to give that, because you're only servicing less clients, you're going to be able to make more money in less time to give that great experience and make those clients feel beautiful instead of, hey, get out of my chair, pull the cape off, go up to the front desk. I'm not even walking you to the front desk, blah, blah, blah. Like I've seen it 100 times in salons, right? Their service ends when the cape flies off, and then it's up to the poor front desk person who's going, what the hell? How much was it? Am I selling them product? Am I doing all these other things? Now we have the time. The chair is being cleaned for 15 minutes. We can walk that client to the front desk. Bella, here's the products I recommended for you today. It was so nice to see you. Let's get you in for your next appointment because it's crazy over COVID. Let's rebook you right now. All those things that you should have been doing and spending the time on.
You have to.
My God, you need to do this, people.
Derek, I let's give credit to where credit is due. It was the folks at Blue who wrote that. Okay.
And I'm sorry, I thought that was Bella. Blue,
Well,
thank you.
Bella would have written it because we know
Yes,
Bella.
exactly.
But the folks at Blue did write it.
Nicole, thank you very much.
Right.
And I would say this, listen, I love all of you equally that are on here, but Nicole and Charles, because they're a Davos salon, we've seen each other in every crazy place in the world, whether it's Iceland or London or, weird Richmond, Virginia, and New York City. We've talked a lot during this 14-week closure. Obviously, they've been on the BBR before and they're Ninja clients, but I love you guys. Thank you so much for your feedback always, because I cannot wait to see you. We know a lot of really good salons that we're friends with, but they're one of my favorites. I can't wait to see them, and I hope it's in the weirdest place in the world. Maybe it'll be the South Pole. I don't care where.
Well, we're all going
to New York.
It's sort of like the South Pole.
No,
weird.
You might be. No, and all joking aside, Nicole, you guys over at Blue have been. You guys are just rock stars for real. Like even with the Ninja platform, you just rock it. But thank you for that message, and I apologize, but that was a well-worded message. Except for the part where Derek, you're a jerk.
Hey, that was Andrew. That wasn't me, man. I was thinking it, but Andrew said it. So
anyway, sorry about that. I'm trying to read on two screens, and
I know, right. Focus, Derek. Focus.
It's all good. So no, but really, that client experience is so important. It's unreal, and having that time. And not just through that message, but through my personal phone coaching calls, I've gotten that same feeling that owners are saying, wow, I've really gotten to reconnect with who we are and who the client is, because we have time to breathe, even though we're behind a mask and we're having trouble breathing, right? But it's real. It's real. And James, you're day to day in the trenches. Andrew, you're hearing it from your coaching calls also. It's really a beautiful time for you to reconnect with your existing clients. And if you have new clients, there's so many ways to talk to that new client now in this age we're dealing with, this new norm drinking game.
Well, you have the opportunity to be really thorough with the information. So it's like, hey, click here for this, click here for that. And it may seem cumbersome to them because of, especially for us, because we're only open a week, and it's like, here's the health waiver, here's what the state mandates, here's this, here's, don't bring your bag in. Yes, you can't bring a book. Like, you can't bring your kids. Don't bring your dog. Like, there's things that we've learned after the first week that we had to modify. And I feel like they're finally to the point where they're actually reading things, and they're like, wait, it was really weird when I brought my 3 kids before, and they sat in the waiting room and messed up your couch, your beautiful leather, your vegan leather couch that you curated,
or threw a whole roll of toilet paper down your toilet.
Well, you know what I mean. So I feel like finally some of your basics, they were like, oh wow, I didn't think that was such a weird thing. Well, it always was a weird thing. Now it's illegal. So there's some oddities like that maybe you guys can kind of get over, just sort of re-explaining policy that would have been standard for most salons, if not just your salon, that you can sort of get them to have a little more understanding.
James, have you done any kids' hair?
We are not doing children's hair at all. Not even in my own house, Andrew.
Okay, good.
Unless it's with a lawnmower and it's at your own risk. But they have to sign a waiver for that in our house.
No,
No,
but
I'm only kidding. We would do kids hair, but they
Come
pay.
on now,
no,
your daughter's
I'm
$5
I'm
price.
just wondering, is anyone out there doing kids' hair now?
Well, in our paperwork that we put out, obviously as newly opened this week, it mentioned something because we have salon owners like Nicole and Charles in Missouri that have had issues with Americans with Disability Act and things like that. We have a handicap ramp, we have a handicap bathroom, we have all those things, but in terms of wearing a mask, we will not service you without a mask, no matter what doctor's note you have. It's our format that we did through Ninja is very specific. They say if you're a minor and need someone to speak on your behalf in terms of the services you need, you are not allowed. We had to put all this legalese in, and all we want to do is rebook because God forbid somebody wants to come in and, hey, my daughter's 14 and needs to come in. It's like, well, you both can come in, but you're going to pay $85 for the haircut too, even if we're not going to cut you. And you're going to come in separate and just sit in separate stations. Like, time is money at this point, and that's what you guys need to realize with raising your prices. Like, every dollar, when Steve Gomez was on a couple months ago and he talked about he did that Excel sheet about your dollars. Every minute you're open is a cost to it, whether it's your PPP loan or anything else. You guys just have to figure it out. Like, it's like nothing is for free. No more bang trims. Even now for us, like single process leave wet clients, leave from the sink.
God bless. We have gone from an industry that's pandering to an industry that's finally starting to realize set my prices where they need to be to have a profitable freaking business, because it's disgusting that we were all competing over each other, like who's going to it was that price game, right? Now we're on the people that are raising their prices are the ones that are going to survive, not the ones that are going to lower their prices playing the pricing game.
But understand,
and that's just.
I worked one time with a really brilliant guy, very successful, and we mapped out the cost of operation per minute. That's how we ran his business.
Andrew, were you in New York City then?
I was in New York City.
What year was it? Don't date yourself.
No, 2000. It was 2002.
Okay, and what was the cost per minute?
Depends what we had a couple of costs per minute. Okay.
Not give me the.
I'll send you, James. What I'll do is I'll get all the paperwork somewhere, digitize it, and send it to you. Show you how we did it.
I would love it. I think
Would you?
would forget it. I think that would be fantastic, because that's the thing is even Nicole and Charles just posted about not doing bang trims. Our problem now, we're open a week, is that you come in, you have to be pre-washed. So you go to the sink. That means that chair needs to be cleaned. You get a single process only. You go to the chair you're having the application done, which is already cleaned for you. You process. You have to go back to the sink to be washed before you go. And, they expected to go back to have styling products applied. For now, it's like, hey, when you get to the sink for the final wash, adios, you're out. We'll put a leave-in conditioner or one you can wash out at home. But that extra 10 minutes for you to walk back to my chair, for me to comb you out, for me to spray down, for me to wait for it, that's, unless you want me to charge you more money for the single process with no finish, I will be happy to. But that's what everybody needs to think about, is every minute, like Andrew said, there's a cost to it, even if there's not someone in your chair like that. The salon needs to operate.
Yeah, there are a lot of salons that charge, well, I would hope that they've either figured out their formula per hour, per minute, whatever it is, but they know it. They know based on those services, right? We know a single process should be an hour, or a blowout should be a half hour, whatever that is, in minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, right? That all boils down to the same thing. You need to know your damn costs, period, to operate your business. And if you don't, and you're not adding profit on top of that, you're missing the boat. And right now, I would suggest that you're doubling your profit. Period. because with what's going on with the limited, all this other, during the BBR in the beginning, all the coaches got together and we said, hey, what's it going to cost on top of our norm, our new norm, to run our business? And we said, I guess it's going to be about 10%. And that was kind of across the board. We said $10, 10%. It's roughly the same thing because we're figuring $100 per hour, right? And 10% is $10, whatever it is. But anybody that jumped on to that conversation and listened to us, and I want to say it was probably maybe 4 or 5 lessons into this, which was months ago. If you did what we told you to do, I promise you're making more money right now for less time that you're open.
Exactly.
And it's a no-brainer. And once we're out of this, holy shit, you're going to be making a lot of money.
Well, and that's the point. That was even saying to Andrew, like, I would love to see the New York City stats of what that looked like per hour, operating or not operating, because New York City obviously is going to be probably, what did you say, Andrew, the highest rent ever?
Stupid rent.
I mean, well, I'm just saying, it's depending on where.
Yeah.
But it's a really good. But it's a really good scale to say, listen, if your rent is higher than rent in Soho in New Jersey, you're renting from the wrong landlord. Like, you need to. That's a whole separate conversation. But those are the things you need to think about. Is like, what are your operational costs? We were closed for 4 months. I know what our cost was. We're a standalone building, so what the garbage costs. We paid for the parking lot lights. We paid for the water usage, for the landscaping and things. And there was a cost. I mean, it wasn't free. It wasn't like we shut the lights off and left for 3 months and didn't have to pay 10 grand a month just to not be open. So you have to be able to recover those things. But those are the things that you guys need to think about, is that even if you're an owner operator and you're behind the chair, those core expenses, that's not payroll, that's not payroll taxes, that's like closed expenses. So if you look at those 3 months and you say, wow, it was $10,000 a month to be closed because of garbage hauling and things I can't change. Water usage will fluctuate. Electric usage will fluctuate. Like, you need to account for that. That's your closed 10,000. That's not your pay. That's what you owe if nobody shows up.
And think about those people that listen to us in the beginning, even if they're not making more money and they're just making the same amount of money for less amount of clients per day. What happens when we're back to normal? And we will get back to normal at some point. You're going to be making, you're going to make up for those things that you've done wrong in the past. You're going to make up for paying 50% freaking commission without any deductions, or 60% commission without any deductions on people that are bringing in $1,500 a week. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong on people that are bringing in $3,000 a week or more, but that's a separate conversation. But I'm saying it will erase a lot of your sins of the past if you got it right during this reset.
Yeah, and I would say to everybody too is that regardless, like I said, politics aside, whatever is going on, we don't know, especially by area, especially where Andrew and I are and Derek is in the same place. Based on what other states have happening, New Jersey just repealed indoor dining because of what they're seeing in the 8 major states and things like that. We don't want to shut the economy down, but I definitely do not want to be closed during Thanksgiving through the holidays. So we're going to do everything in our power to make sure from our end that salons are the benchmark of the example, but we're also indoors. We can't socially distance. If you're a restaurant and you wait on a table, you could be in front of them for what? I mean, listen, we have 3 kids. We used to like to go out every Saturday night after work. The waiter was with us for about 20 seconds and usually sucked. You're in front of them for almost an hour and a half. And you're fantastic.
Come on, James. Be nice because you were there at 9:30, a half hour before they closed, as a typical salon owner. And the waiter was going, who the fuck are these people at the last minute coming in to drive us crazy? Because that my wife and I used to do the same thing, come out of the salon, trying to get there before we closed, right? And but
we were early birds. We showed up as soon as dinner opened, and we're like, I don't care what you give me the check in advance, like whatever you need to do. We wanted to get in and get out. But that's the thing is, right? So we're trying to protect our industry and make sure we follow the rules because we cannot socially distance. So whatever.
Let's not be restaurants right now, folks, because I know in a lot of the and without being political, a lot of states in some of these zones are starting to re-shut down. So, have your plans in place. If those things are going to happen, we're going to have to bite the bullet once again. And, you're going to have to fall back on your loans and things like that hopefully you've done. If you haven't, let's operate, like James said, let's operate perfectly right now. Let's follow all the protocols. Let's show them that we are above and beyond even what a hospital does, and set the example. And if you see salons that aren't setting that example, pick up that damn phone, call the state board and say, you need to shut these assholes down. I'm sorry, but that's the way it's got to be from this point forward. Because if you don't, we're going to hurt our industry as a whole. This is what James and James, we talked about this earlier. Don't let the bad apples spoil the whole apple cart for all of us.
Without a doubt. And Andrew and Derek always teach the same thing about the business aspect, right? About having your, squirreling away some money in case there's an issue. They didn't plan this based on the pandemic. But what I would say to you salon owners that were afforded the luxury of opening, whether it was the PPP loan or EIDL or whatever it is, what if you had to face a 14-day closure based on a staff member getting sick? So what you need to do is, besides your health policy for clients and staff, is you have to look at it. What if you had a 14-day closure? Not that you wouldn't survive 14 days. I mean, 14 days now, I'm getting out. I'm going to go to New Zealand. They had like one case. They closed me down. I'm like, I'm done with you Jersey people. I'm out of here. But, but for anything else, what if you had a street closure? What if you had a sewage leak? What if you had other things? I mean, 14 days is not a lot of time to be closed for other related business issues that aren't COVID. If you can't survive and figure out a way to have a protocol and policy for that, like, what do you care that you got the EIDL? Like, 14 days. We've had construction on our street. They built a building across the street, one behind us. We've had days where we walked in the morning on a Saturday and the street was completely closed. And I'm sorry to say Salon Ninja again, but pre-Salon Ninja, I had to hand text 40 clients. You got to park up the block. There's a closure. And it was a pain in the ass, but we had to do it. Like, if you can't handle a 14-day closure, you need a contingency plan. Like, what happens if it's a lousy 14 days? It's not like 4 months like we just went through. So you guys have to think.
Yeah, you better have plans. You better have long-term plans. In effect, goes back to the old, what do they say? You better have at least 3 months to 6 months rent sitting aside, whatever it is, because folks, we may be facing another shutdown. And this call is not about doom and gloom. It's about proper planning prevents poor performance.
And if we don't, you're in a much better place anyway, as business people.
So what a great call tonight. What great interaction. We've got a ton of people still on, and we are like, how long into this thing? We're almost 2 hours into this thing. Wow. But what a great group everybody was tonight. So before we kick off, let's get any last minute questions in. Anybody have any questions?
I'm looking.
So Andrew, you're going to look at Zoom. I'll look at Facebook Live, and James and I guess. Facebook Live, let's get your comments in here. Zoom, get your comments up in the chat.
Andrew, they love your lighting. You look like your microphone only went to the dark side once.
Fantastic.
Well, so Jacqueline just said, why do you think we could be shut down again? And Jacqueline, I'm not sure. Jacqueline, I know you're on Facebook, so there's a lag, but for some of you states that are having a surge, I mean, where we are in New Jersey and New York, we're down to like peanuts, right, Andrew?
Yeah.
Like nothing. But you take a place like Florida, it's a little bit alarming. Like, I don't care if they open the beaches or what they open, but when the numbers go to the numbers they went to, and we're down to like 30 a day. To be honest with you, when they said, "Hey, we don't want anybody from Florida coming to New York and New Jersey," I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, stay.
Yeah, I mean, And I know we have members in Texas right now. Texas is currently shutting down areas of restaurants and salons. California still has not opened certain areas of salons. So it's a tough road. So let's be vigilant. Let's be smart, and let's take care of our clients properly, folks.
Yeah, just stay focused. Everyone's come such a far way in the last 100 days or so. Just keep it up, keep healthy, keep your energy, drink plenty of water.
Take your turmeric and your vitamin C.
All that stuff. Yeah, but energy is the most important thing going here.
Well, so positivity, right, Andrew? Which you talked about in your call.
Yeah, and our overall energy, and yeah, just treat yourself kindly, please.
Mental fortitude is the number one right now. Your body will handle the stress. It's whether your mind can handle the stress, and you need to have mental fortitude and know that this will pass at some time. Be strong. Understand that if you don't have people around you, we're here for you in the BBR. If you need to surround yourself with positive people, if you don't, get it where you live, obviously surround yourself with that positive attitude, your team with that positive attitude, all those great things. Live in love, and get through it, and all will be good at some point. It may be a rough road, but Andrew, I'll use my Marine saying, embrace the suck.
Yeah. There you go.
Right?
Well, listen, while you're embracing the suck, the last two really good things that came through was Cindy said the BBR rules, she wants to know when we're going to have t-shirts made, which Cindy, we're going to work on that this week, and we're going to figure something out. And Phil Wilson apparently thinks my background sucks because it's not him behind it. But
wait a second, I saw a picture of Philip next to those candles. No,
to the Phil Wilson / Joe Biden background.
Oh God, don't. On that note.
Oh wait, I knew he was going to do it. No, he's not touching your shoulder.
There you go, Phil. A little live haircut on me with a hat on.
A little higher.
No, but it was good. I think. Listen,
No, it's all good. Thanks, everybody. Great evening. We will see you next Monday on the BBR. We're going to be on Monday nights now for a longer period, and it was so great having all of you on tonight, and we really appreciate you. And it's just, we're grateful. We really are grateful for you as a group to come in here, participate, and we all will get through this. See you soon. Good night, Andrew. Good night, James.
Good night.
Thank you for your participation.
Good night, guys.
See ya.